Hello, Cryptonauts. Welcome back to another episode of Cryptocurrency Chat. It is 4/23/2023, so 4/23/23. This is episode 509, and this Sunday, the third. Is it the third Sunday? I think it's the third Sunday. Let me look at the map here. Yep. Nope. We have one more Sunday this month, so this is the second to last Sunday of April. And then we'll be getting on to May, and we'll be getting on to what you see on your screen right now, which is the Blockchain Expo. That will be so exciting when we get a chance to go to that again. Hopefully, we'll all be able to go this time. So, as I said before, my name is Jake Jabrili.
Less than a month away, man.
Welcome. Yeah, no, it's not even that much time. It's, 3 weeks. Introduce Mike is on the show today, along with John and myself. So, how's it going, guys? And we're going to talk about Blockchain Expo a bit here.
Good. Just wrapped up DeFi Kingdoms Community Day just about an hour ago. That was a big success. We had like 20 plus participants in there. My DFK just got the community together. It was a great experience as always.
Yeah, I actually was in there for 10 minutes. So yeah, we're going to be going to Blockchain.
Sunday.
Happy Sunday, yeah. Happy Sunday, Mike. We're going to Blockchain Expo on May 17th and 18th. That's actually in the middle of the week. I think it's Tuesday and Wednesday or Wednesday and Thursday. I can't remember which days it is.
Wednesday and Thursday.
Oh, it's Wednesday, Thursday? Okay. So yeah, we'll be there for that. You come check it out or follow us on the stream. We'll be streaming and talking about it probably pretty much live the entire time we're there. Lots of stuff going on. You can get in for free. There are more expensive tickets if you want to pay for them, but pretty much everything on the floor is free. So check it out. Let's get into the news. John, lead us off with crypto Twitter.
All right, this week in crypto Twitter, Tom Emmer's grilling Ginzer goes viral. U.S. and EU regulators make move. This week, markets were at the mercy of macroeconomic factors, as some of the Feds have indicated another rate hike is due next month. Crypto was also subjected to intense scrutiny by regulators in both U.S. and EU. Bitcoin and Ethereum led the downturn with similar 7-day losses of over 10%, impacting many leading cryptocurrencies. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, cracked down on crypto, made headlines on Monday when the regulators sued yet another big crypto business for alleged failure to comply with securities laws. Seattle-based exchange Bittrex. Delphi Labs' Gabriel Shapiro was outraged by the agency's description of the Dash token as a security. Now here's that tweet from Gabriel. I just read SEC's case against Bittrex and am floored. More aggressive than could have been imagined, and goes directly against Dash's no pre-mine model, saying Dash is a security despite the fact that the DevCo is funded by validators out of the block reward. On Thursday, the European Parliament passed the Markets in Crypto Assets (MiCA) bill with 517 votes in favor, 38 against, and 18 abstentions. The legislation now gives the bloc's 27 constituent states a unified approach to crypto. Rebecca Teagan, Chief Policy Officer at Polygon Labs, wrote a thread on Monday arguing that the block still needs to tweak its Data Act, which she described as, quote, overbroad and, quote, likely unenforceable in decentralized systems. Institutional Bitcoin whale Michael Saylor complained about all the sats he was receiving on Tuesday. Are you serious? Oh, he's complaining. Here's a tweet from Michael. So, MicroStrategy converted my corporate email address into Lightning address, and people keep sending me 21 sats. There's a screenshot of all those 21 sats.
Here you go. Here's some free money for the man's richest Bitcoiner.
That would suck if it was his primary email.
Yeah.
Crypto lawyer Rodrigo, who tweeted under the handle at RSSH273, tweeted a lengthy legal objection to the sanctioning of crypto privacy mixer Tornado Cash by U.S. authorities. Now here's that tweet from Rodrigo. We filed an amicus in the suit that 6 Tornado Cash users brought against the unprecedented sanctions of TC open source code. Our argument is simple. Sanctions only apply to people or entities and their, quote, property. TC fits none of those definitions. It is just open source code.
How do you sanction open source code?
Exactly. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong flexed his diplomatic muscle in London on Tuesday. Later in the week, the exchange announced extensive expansion plans, a maneuver to counteract the increasing assertiveness and aggressiveness of U.S. regulators towards the exchange and industry in recent months. There's a tweet there from Brian with a little image there. Great meet in the UK Economic Secretary and City Minister Griffith. Twitter user at Tevano flagged a multi-million-dollar wallet draining operation that has been active since December. What? That's a long time. Look at that. Oh my goodness. There's that tweet. Yeah, for the
Yeah.
past 48 hours, I've been unwinding the massive wallet drain operation. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I heard about that. It's pretty crazy. No one's figured out how they've done it yet.
Right.
And
5,000
it's
ETH.
people with pretty good security.
Mm-hmm.
From what I was reading on, it wasn't people who are just laissez-faire with their security.
Republican Tom Emmer's appearance at a hearing in Washington on the oversight of the SEC made the rounds on Twitter with an eminently quotable soundbite. At the hearing, Emmer grilled SEC Chair Gensler and said, quote, "You've been an incompetent cop on the beat," before claiming the SEC's chair was pushing American firms into the hands of the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, I agree with him. He has been kind of incompetent. Well, not kind of, but incompetent.
Kind of.
Can we play that video real quick or no?
I don't know. Can we? Probably not.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, because it's because it's government. You can. Sorry.
Okay, let's play it. It should be only a
Your
couple
public
seconds, right?
statements are not regulations.
It's a minute long.
It's not responsible to expect the American people to assume your statements are a substitute for rules. Do you agree with this statement regarding the digital asset industry? The SEC needs additional congressional authorities to prevent transactions, products, and platforms from falling between the regulatory cracks.
I think that it's a largely non-compliant field. And
Sir,
we could use
again,
additional
I asked you to
resources.
comply with my questions, and I'm asking you if you agree with that quote. And I'm going to tell you, I'm quoting you from an August 3rd, 2021 article where you, and I believe you told Congressman Hill earlier that you need congressional authority to regulate stablecoins, and stablecoins happen to be a significant percentage of the crypto market. So the question is, when were you telling the truth? To Mr. Hill or to me? Your public.
There he is, getting grilled, man.
Yep.
As expected. Anyone surprised?
No.
Blockchain sleuth Zach XBT on Wednesday compiled a long list of scams that rapper Soulja Boy has shilled since he got involved in crypto.
Yeah.
And that is a long list, man. That's massive. Do the hiccups referred to in writer and lawyer at NYC Southpaw's tweets referred to blanket refusal from Mama and Papa Bankman-Fried to have their phones compromised in such an intrusive manner? Likely. Here's a tweet from Southpaw. One of SBF's bail condition in his parents have to have cell phones that automatically snap photos of the users every couple minutes. And they're having some hiccups setting it up. On Thursday, news hit Twitter and that Tornado Cash developer Alex Perdsev, who was arrested by Dutch authorities in August for allegedly facilitating money laundering, is getting released next Wednesday so he can prepare for his trial at home. Gabriel Shapiro that day pitched his idea of the Borg, an abbreviation for the Cybernetic Organization. The Borg is a new middle between decentralized and autonomous principles of DAOs and the legal entitlements and compliance structures of traditional business entities.
Good thing this guy's never heard of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
That's a terrible name to use.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Just like Skynet.
Finally, Dogecoin creator turned no-coiner Bill Marcus still thinks crypto is a lunatic's game.
So does Warren Buffett.
And that ends this week on Crypto Twitter.
Yeah. There are some people who just don't get it. What do they say? There are 1 types of people in this world, those who understand binary and those who don't. Yeah, but it looks like 10. So anyways. Anyway, continuing on with This Week in Coins. Market slumps as Bitcoin and Ethereum drop over 10%. I wonder how Michael Saylor feels about that. I'm sure he doesn't care. There was a limit to crypto's growth this week as the market is still pricing the effects of another possible interest rate hike from the Fed. you know, every single interest rate hike has not really affected it affects it in the moment, but then it just goes right back up again. These indications led to a strengthened dollar, yeah, right, but halted the crypto rally from the previous week, which was spurred on by Ethereum's Shapella upgrade when it went live. This week's news was a veritable feast of regulation stories in both the United States and European Union, as we spoke about Mika, with the drama in Washington centered on the SEC's ongoing crackdown on crypto's business, 1,500 to date, in fact, according to a tweet on Monday by Chair Mr. Gensler, Uncle Gary, right, who is commemorating his second year as the top U.S. securities regulator, so he thinks.
Crazy.
Bitcoin and Ethereum both fell this week. Bitcoin held its head occasionally above $30,000 mark, but ultimately began to fall on Wednesday, spiraling down to its current level of roughly 27,340, a 10.3% drop from last week. I think it's up to 28, isn't it? Last I looked, it was at 28. Ethereum had a similar trajectory and occasionally kept its head above 2,100 until midweek before sinking down to about 1851, about 11.7% loss. Many of the top 30 cryptocurrency by market cap posted losses of a little over 10%, including XRP, which is somewhere around 45 cents, Cardano is around 40 cents, Doge, which is around 8 cents, Polygon, which is around $1. Solana changed hands somewhere around 21.45, Polkadot at 5.91, Litecoin 86.36, Avalanche $17-ish, Uniswap 5.5, and Cosmos at 10, almost 11. Stellar XLM sits at just under 10 cents time of this writing. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, crackdown on crypto businesses led headlines on Monday when the agency sued yet another big crypto business for alleged failure to comply with securities laws, that being Seattle-based exchange Bittrex. In its lawsuit, the SEC named 6 cryptocurrencies. Bittrex was allegedly offering an unregistered securities of OMG, Dash, Monolith, TKN, Naga, NGC, Real Estate Protocol, IHT, and Algorand, or Algo. The drama continued to pace on crypto Twitter, where a clip of Gensler praising Algorand made the rounds. It's from a 2019 talk.
Hilarious.
Gave at MIT Sloan Idea Exchange, a conference hosted by the school when Gensler was a professor in the global economics and management there. Several Republican lawmakers reacted to the SEC's regulation by enforcement strategy by submitting a letter of condemnation to the House Financial Services Committee on Tuesday. At the hearing, Rep. Tom Emmer, as we mentioned earlier, grilled Gensler and said, "You've become an incompetent cop." Yeah, we already said that. Before claiming the SEC chair was pushing American firms to the hands of the CCP, as we also said. On Wednesday, the committee turned its attention to stablecoins. Republicans and Democrats clashed over a proposed bill currently called the To Be Added Act, this is TBD, of 2023. Democrat Maxine Waters said that she has never finished negotiation with Republican Patrick Henry, and is that a euphemism? And that lawmakers are now starting from scratch. Democrat Stephen Lynch also criticized some of the proposed legislation. Good news from Texas legislature on Friday. The Texas House of Representatives approved a bill requiring local cryptocurrency exchanges to maintain reserves sufficient to fulfill all obligations to their customers. The European Union was ultimately where the most progress was made on crypto legislation this week, and the European Parliament passed the Crypto Assets MiCA bill, which we already spoke of. Legislation means, I already wrote this, but will now take a unified approach to crypto. And the stablecoin legislation won't come into effect until July 2024, so you got some time. The rest of the legislation won't really happen until the following January. So, with that, we can move on, unless anyone's got other comments, to something about decentralized Twitter.
No, fun, interesting point that may not be related. The head of the SEC was also the professor of the head of FTX. So that is just even more intertwined.
Yeah, people,
crazy stuff. Yeah. And he's claimed that he's never owned or held any crypto.
I always say that,
which is just crazy. They taught a class on it.
In the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, all the intertwining, or as they called intersexual activities between big business and big government was done behind closed doors. Now, with the advent of social media, everyone's just doing it out in the open. Public nudity for all.
Yeah.
All right, decentralized Twitter alternatives, BlueSky and Nostr are growing with some growing pains. Let's find out what's going on there. So, BlueSky and Nostr, two separate Twitter-like social platforms, both decentralized and both backed by Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey, are growing rapidly as Elon Musk continues to make controversial changes to Twitter itself. BlueSky released on Friday on Android smartphones. So if you guys have that,
Yeah, I downloaded it. I downloaded it just before the show started.
Yeah, but you need a code, right? You need
Yep.
you need like a
Yeah, I need an
code to
invite.
get in there.
I need to figure out how to get an invite from someone.
Send invites. If you guys have invites, please DM us.
Yeah.
Thank you. We want to show what's going on there with BlueSky. If you guys don't know what BlueSky is be a decentralized platform like Twitter, pretty much. Just Jack Dorsey's backing it. If you guys tried out Mastodon's been around for a while, but the difference with Mastodon and platforms like BlueSky and Nostr is that Mastodon is more of like a federated network. So imagine pretty much everyone that manages their protocol or their client, right? Their server. There's one individual that manages the entire server of each server within Mastodon. And if they don't like what you talk about on their server, and they don't like you, or you give them a bad vibe, they can boot you and erase all your data. So if you're trying to build a following on these particular servers, and just the person that's running it just doesn't like what you're doing, everything's gone. You lose it all. That's bad. It's
Yeah.
no different
Basically,
than
their
Twitter
relay
or
is
another
their
centralized
control. So yeah, it's
Relay,
annoying because the way that Nostr, I think somebody was trying to explain this to me, was that you can still have all your content out there as long as you're willing to find someone who's cool with hosting your content, and you can host it in multiple places on Nostr. But
there's thousands now. There's thousands of relays now on Nostr, and there's even places that they're unbiased.
Yep.
As long as you pay them the $5, boom, there it is.
Yep.
They'll always host
So
your data.
this is one of the
Not a
things,
problem.
just as a side comment to this about Twitter, even though this is kind of what we're talking about here, is every transaction within crypto has some kind of fee, right? Some gas fee or something, and some of them don't. Obviously, there are some coins that don't have a cost to transact, but there's a reason for the cost in transaction. That's spam. You don't want somebody to just come in and just completely destroy your network by not paying for it. So there's a cost to doing all this. And the thing that's so funny about Twitter is the only cost to using Twitter was creating an account and then hopefully not getting banned by making dumbass comments. But the idea of having a cost, like there is in Nostr and BlueSky, is trying to curtail the spamming that's going on Twitter. And one of the things that Elon Musk complained about was that there's a ton of spam. One of the things he was using to try to get out of the purchase originally was saying, "Oh, it's just a bot haven. Everyone's just botting constantly." And yes, there are a lot of bots, but there are plenty of good bots on Twitter. There's not just bad ones. And so really what it comes down to is paying for access is not necessarily a bad thing. And saying that it is a bad thing is really just not understanding the point of what's really going on here. So if you want to prevent spam, you're going to have to incur a cost on spammers. And that's what BlueSky and Nostr are doing. But they're also doing it from a decentralized standpoint, unlike Twitter, which is now completely wholly owned by Mr. Musk. And he can do as he will. And he has been proving that he can do as he will by doing all kinds of crazy stuff, like taking the W out of Twitter. Making it and calling it Titter. So
I'm showing on screen here hamster.to and snort.social, two different clients for Nostr. I do have C3 Media on there and Blockchain John. So if you guys want to follow me, you guys can follow me or us on those platforms, on those addresses. I'm going to post them here on Twitch. Let's see. All right, let me continue on with what's going on there. So let's see. There's Damus. If you guys want to check out Damus, Damus is on Apple device, on iOS. That is probably one of the number one best client for anyone that has an Apple phone to use as a client to interact with the Nostr protocol. Amethyst is what I just actually it's not on here. Amethyst is another Android app that you can download on your phone and connect with it. What's cool about all these clients is that they're interlaced within the Nostr protocol. So if, say for example, Amethyst does get shut down for whatever reason, or if it gets banned from the marketplace, you're no longer able to use it. The Nostr protocol is decentralized, meaning that all these clients do communicate with each other, and your data will still be on there, just on a different client. So just find another client, we'll reconnect,
Right.
and you're good to go. That's what's awesome about that. Let's see what else here. So BlueSky, I don't really have much info on BlueSky because I don't have an invite code for that. Let's see, soon after, yeah. Jump on Nostr, man. Get on Nostr. Let's see. Blue Skies.
I mean, it's going to take a while for Nostr and or BlueSky to gain some traction, at least the way that Twitter has gained traction over the last, almost 20 years. But at least it won't be.
I think that.
At least it won't be, owned by a weird billionaire freak.
Yeah, the biggest cool thing about what happened here. Where was that at? There's something about Mastodon. Where is it? Somewhere at the beginning. Where there was a big surge. Okay, is that the top? It was talking about there was like a huge influx of people moving away from Twitter and over to Mastodon. There it is. Mastodon grew rapidly with the user base 300,000 to 2.5 million late last year.
Mm-hmm.
So people are looking for the alternative to Twitter. That's a big change. 300,000 to 2.5 million, and I wish we had that many followers. That would be great.
But just a small number would be fine. 300,000 subs would be amazing.
People are craving this. This is the next social media platform. It is the next unicorn. So we don't know which one of these are going to win it. Right now, my vote goes for Nostr. I like Nostr. It's great. Everybody that was on Twitter is over at Nostr. And it's easy to follow them. It's great. It's an easy transition. I already showed you guys how it looks. It looks very similar to Twitter as of right now. So this is just the thing about Nostr is that Nostr is just a protocol. There's so much more to build out other than this. We've already found like an Instagram version on Nostr.
Yep.
We found a podcasting platform service on Nostr. I'm sure that the YouTube service will the alternative will be on Nostr pretty soon. There's going to be so much more services being built on Nostr. It's going to take time for these developers to get that stuff out there. So Nostr is not just what you see. There's so much more to be built on top of this.
Right. All right. Moving on to Helium and its downfall. Mike?
Yep. So this article is written by Andrew Hayward. And it's Helium complete Solana migration, minting nearly 1 million NFTs in the process. We actually have a Helium wallet and just checked it the other day, and it's gone now. Helium is officially gone.
Yep.
It's just Solana, which is crushing. Back to the article. Crypto-fueled wireless network Helium has successfully completed its anticipated migration from Layer 1 blockchain platform to Solana. Helium founders and backers see potential for Solana to unlock additional use cases around the network, which may be facilitated by a mass-scale NFT mint tied to the migration. As part of the migration process, an NFT is being minted to represent each physical hotspot node running the Helium network, ultimately tallying over 991,000 Solana NFTs. Hotspot owners will claim their respective NFT when they log in to the wallet tied to their hotspot. The owners can still transfer, update hotspot locations as they please. So they're pretty much just like gag NFTs. Is that what I'm getting?
Well,
I mean, I
worth nothing.
I haven't found anything. There's nothing useful with it. I've already saw that. They're like, okay, so what? You made an NFT. Well, the only cool thing about what they did with that transaction is that it would cost like, I think it was like $3.5 million or $33.5 million if they did it on Ethereum. If they made these NFTs on Ethereum, but it only cost them like $150 on Solana.
Well, yeah, that just shows how worthless it is. It's like it's not worthwhile for. Essentially, it's just like a little fun receipt for you got rugged. You own a machine that's pretty much worthless now.
Yeah.
We're sold a bill of goods on the new internet, and now it's just Solana. Here's a little receipt. You can go and trade it for nothing because it costs nothing to make, and no one has any value in it.
Well, I mean, it was admitted some time ago, right after the big push in was it early 2021 or no? Was it 2020? Yeah, it was early 2021 when I got this, and all the people were just like, "Oh, this is so exciting! We have all this money. We're gonna totally do this cool stuff." And no, it was a giant rug pull by the creators, and they never had any intention of making this legit, which is sad because it's a neat idea. It's a really, I mean,
Yeah, they had the technology, they had the fan base, they
yeah,
had the money.
yeah,
They could have just been, the AT&T killer.
yeah. And that was the thing. I remember we talked to somebody when we were, I was an antenna maker when I was in at the last Blockchain Expo in October. And I said, the thing that weirds me out about the 5G part of helium is that when everybody plugs, where are we going to get the internet from, right? I mean, nobody just makes internet free. So what really is going to happen is be Comcast, AT&T, and other such, cable and POTS data lines that are going to be supporting the entirety of the network. And once they get wind of that, they're going to be, throttling it. So
Yeah.
if you're going to plug your helium 5G modem or whatever transmitter into your current internet, it better not care about being used for that purpose. I mean, there are some companies out there that won't, but
I'm sure there's some kind of protection.
Yeah, well, if we can do some kind
Companies
of
can't just shut it off because it's a competition.
VPN or something like that. But the fact of the matter is, you're sucking off their internet, and it's like, well, without what's it called, net neutrality, they can pretty much throttle. You can use a VPN and say, "Screw you, I'll do what I want," but you probably should be using a VPN for that purpose, anyways. So yeah, it's just a weird, it's a great idea that was terribly executed. So.
Awful.
Hopefully somebody comes in to replace it and doesn't do the same thing. But man, getting all the million modems or miners they put out there. I mean, I have one. A friend of mine bought 10 of them. I think he's actually kind of glad that he resold them all for twice what he paid because he made a boatload of money off of those things.
I bought a bunch. I gave some away as gifts.
Yeah.
I know some people too who had a lot of them. I don't even ask them about it.
So
they were planning to roll them out to a lot of places, but
yeah, it's sad. But well, maybe it will. I can only hope. I mean, at this point, it's sunk cost, and we just have to pray that something good comes of it. Anyways, moving on to China, all the way across the world to China. More Chinese government employees will be paid in the digital yuan, this report states. All this news is coming from Decrypt if you didn't already know. So the public sector employees in the Chinese city of Jiangsu will start receiving their salaries in the central bank digital currency, or CBDC, next month as China's rollout of the financial technology continues. The new initiative will impact employees like doctors, teachers, journalists. Everybody works for the state in China, right? According to the South China Morning Post, which I don't believe anything they write. Located less than 100 miles from Shanghai, Jiangsu City is home to 1.5 million residents. It's a relatively small town there in China. 1.5 million, right? Anyway, so why is this important? Because this is kind of a predecessor to what may potentially happen with what the United States is going to be rolling out in July called FedNow.
Expected to happen.
So, the FedNow is going to happen. It's just that this is a precursor. Now, I will say the biggest distinction between China and the United States is that China is a quote-unquote communist country that is not communist at all. In fact, it is very capitalistic, run by a dictatorship of Xi Jinping and his people. And they already have their social, what's it called? The
credit score?
Yeah, the social credit score, which can decimate your life very easily if you even make one tiny little mistake. And it can be it can be very difficult to get back up on top or even just be neutral again. And that may not happen in the United States anytime soon, but it's an example of what's happening of what this gargantuan country that is currently the highest population in the world, and they're just trying to control everybody there with cameras and digital and controlling your money and everything, and they're just trying to make sure that they can control their people with complete hegemony.
Using AI facial detection.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of crazy stuff, but
that's already here in the States too, through private organizations that I know of. There was an event going on, and there was a parent that was a lawyer, bringing in some kids from like a scouts gathering.
Hmm.
They went to this event, but this particular organizer of the event was in litigation, and the people that were litigating against them, well, she was an employee of there, was not part of the actual case, but was an employee of that particular defense, right? So she was not allowed in. The AI facial detection detected her.
Right.
They sent security out and they escorted her out. So the kids were allowed in, but she had to stay outside.
Yep, I remember that.
Was horrible.
Yep, I do remember that. That was a play or something, or a show.
Yes.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And she was kind of upset that she wasn't allowed in because they recognized who she was. Now, that's not to say that can't happen. AI is being used to recognize faces in a lot of places, but in China, it's very locked down. It's very, very, very high level of control, and everyone's being restricted.
I want to recircle back to Nostr. That what's cool about Nostr and in connection with China is that there's a lot of places in China. Like obviously, there's a lot of firewall out there, right? The Great
Wall.
Firewall of
Yeah.
China.
Mm-hmm.
With Nostr, it's so beautiful because there's people communicating with us from China, which they could never do before on any other platform. You know, they can now talk to us. They're there. You can see them. You can make new friends. This is amazing. New connections, new businesses. You know, you want some information? There it is. You got it's beautiful, dude. Get on Nostr. Just get on Nostr.
Anyways, but just to roll
You're
this
gonna have to tell me that sometime.
to finish this out, and is to basically say that China, the CCP in particular, are trying to control their people completely, and control their minds and control every single thing that they do. I don't think this is going to work. I know that they're ultimately trying to roll CBDC out to everyone in China, and that's the end goal. But I hope that the Chinese people are resilient enough to realize that they're being duped. Not to say that China has really been nice to its people for the last 100 years. It really hasn't. Since the CCP took over, they've killed a good chunk of their own people. I don't want to go into the terrible things that we know have happened, but there is some pretty bad stuff that's happening. It's not getting better. It's just not getting better. But this is a warning. This is the CBDC rollout in China is a warning. So we'll see how badly it fails. Let's move on to the last bit of news here, John.
That last sentence on the bottom here on that last article was, while only 11 countries, including the Bahamas, have fully launched a CBDC. That's 11 countries already, man. Imagine
Yeah, out of 240, that's not bad.
The technology has a growing foothold across the globe, according to the Atlantic Council CBDC tracker. One of the 100 countries are piloting, researching, or developing the technology today. Remember that. CBDCs are coming out. My thing is, say no to CBDCs.
Or at least invest in Bitcoin, right?
I don't think we're going to have a choice.
The EU LODs. Anyways, this is about the MiCA thing, right, John?
Yeah, EU LOD's comprehensive regulation as the MiCA crypto law passes. We mentioned this earlier a couple times already. So, really quick, the EU Parliament has voted through landmark legislations. And let's see, the markets in crypto assets, that's the acronym for MiCA, passed 517 votes. Let's see, Coinbase firms, including Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, welcome the passing of landmark legislation. And let's see, in order for new coins to be approved in the EU, it must be ensured that the future of the business models will not endanger other currency stability. The new supervisory structure will also be a bulwark against Lehman Brothers movements like the crypto exchange FTX. So all this came together from the whole collapse of a lot of exchanges last year, especially in their highlighting. This parliament highlights FTX. We got to keep in mind it was a lot of exchanges out there.
Three O's Capital, Voyager Digital,
Celsius, yes,
Celsius,
Voyager,
right.
3 O's Capital. Yep.
So
Those are the big ones, and there was a lot more companies under them that fell apart as well.
Yeah. So this legislation is really kind of, interestingly enough, going to probably lead the United States to some kind of legislation at some point in the future. But it's just trying to regulate crypto in some general sense so that we don't get these huge. It's funny to think of FTX as a gigantic rug pull, but it kind of is.
Which organization in the United States would put something together like this?
A CBDC?
No. The
Oh, like-
Mika, the legislation that Mika is doing, it'll probably be the SEC.
Which, if that's the case, then it's not going to happen because Uncle Gary doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he's just bullying everybody right now. Now, like I said, this is just a precursor. The European Union is a lot more proactive than the United States is on these kinds of things. So they're trying to get something on the books. They're trying to make. I mean, Elizabeth Warren has been talking about this concept, and I'm sure she's on board with what the European Union is doing.
I'm sure it's not perfect, but it's better than nothing.
Right.
More of, yeah, let's protect the consumers, but at the same time, and I think Mike was kind of poking at this, is that you don't want to be too, you don't want to let the federal agencies to be too involved in what we do in our lives, right? Making those decisions for us. Oh, you can't invest into that coin. Oh, you can't use that exchange. Oh, you can't do this. You can't do that. It's like, stop. Let me do what I want with my money.
Yeah,
So we'll
land of the
see.
free,
Yeah,
right?
I think
Land of the free, sort of. Land of
Nostr.
the
over there.
belief of freedom. Anyways, that's all we got for the show. Thank you everybody for watching. Check out our coin tree if you'd like to donate to it. There's lots of places you can donate, and you can also check out all of our social media things like Discord and Twitch, as you're probably watching us here on that. Odyssey, YouTube, Twitter, our own little website that we have is just a temporary space to sign up for guest interviews primarily.
Like coffee.
Yeah, here we go. Buy us a coffee, or buy John a coffee. And,
For sure, check us out on Odyssey.
Yep, check us out.
Definitely leave a little fire, a comment, a little tickle, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Drop us a little coin. And of course, as we mentioned at the top of the show, check out Blockchain Expo. We will be there in mid-May. As we say at the end of every single show, stack sats and hodl.
And HODL.
Adios.
Adios.